I, 28 female, am married to my husband, 34, and we have a son who's a tween. I had a rough childhood, and my mom, who I loved very much, passed away when I was 16 due to addiction. I don't have many things from her besides some jewelry, but I've always had a photo book filled with her college and later in life photos. I'm going through another weird second wave of grief right now in life. I just miss her often, especially now that I'm in therapy. My son sees me crying a lot, and my husband wanted me to explain things to him because he seemed confused. So I did. I explained everything to him one night before bedtime, and we looked through the old photo book together. It was one of the most beautiful moments in my life. 10 days ago, I came to his room to get him for dinner, and I saw the book on his desk, walked over, and saw that he had taken pictures out of the book, cut them up, and glued them to a piece of paper. All I could do was stand there and say, "Oh, crap." I tried hard not to cry and immediately went downstairs to my husband and told him about it. Started to cry, and my son came into the kitchen. I was visibly upset and asked him why he would do that. He also started to cry and told me he wanted to do an art project for me. I just walked out of the room, went to bed while my husband tended to him, and then packed a backpack and went to my dad's to spend the night. My husband's trying to give me space but keeps calling and overwhelming me. I told him I was upset with our kid, and he defended him, saying that it was just how he expressed himself and that I was overreacting and upsetting him. He said that this is just what happens with kids, but he couldn't understand that those photos were so special to me. He's all cranky with me now, and I feel horrible, angry, and miserable. My dad is starting to feel angry at my husband now because of his behavior and is worried about me, but I just feel guilty for upsetting my child. Am I the idiot for staying with my dad after my son cut up pictures of my deceased mother? No idiots here. I'm just sorry for your loss, and it's clear your mom meant a lot to you. Just like for you, I'm sure you mean a lot to your son. Please ask him about the art project he was doing. It is possible he was trying to make something beautiful with the pictures of his grandma to please his own mom. He's a young tween. They don't always understand damage and long-term pain. Big disagree. There's absolutely an idiot here, and it's her husband. Those of you who think the husband isn't an idiot for telling his wife that her feelings and emotions aren't valid and that she just needs to get over herself and can't even take a single day to try to have some time to heal. At the same time, she relives the trauma of losing her own mother all over again. That's wild. Her son literally has this other parent right there. He'll see his dad telling his mom that her feelings don't matter, and it doesn't matter that anything's been done to upset her. Tell me you don't have kids without telling me you don't have kids. The husband is at home with a young tween who thinks their mother hates them enough to run and hide from them. Her husband has every right and responsibility to expect his wife to come home and figure this out. Her child didn't destroy the pictures to take them away from her. I guarantee they were trying to do something to help their mom feel better. They were, albeit misguidedly, trying to show their love for their own mom, who in response packed a bag and left. She must understand that being a good parent means putting your children above yourself. This was a teaching moment. All she was teaching them was that mom's love was conditional. Her husband's trying to get her to do right by their child. Yep, agreed. Sorry, OP. You need to go and make things right with your boy. Knowing he's made his mom leave, he must be beside himself. Poor boy. I don't like to throw around trauma for no reason, but running out on your young child for days on end when they don't understand what they did wrong is a great way to give them some kind of complex, at least. Leaving was excessive. OP, you're being dramatic, and it's at the expense of your son's well-being. You should feel guilty, and if I were your husband, I'd be mad too. I'm male 27. I'm getting married to the love of my life, female 26, in a couple of months, and I couldn't be happier. My fiancé is an immigrant from India, so she has a naturally more traditional view of society. And while we might not agree on everything politically or socially, we always try to make compromises so everyone is happy. Now, my little brother, Teen, is gay and has been out for about a year. I'm the first one he told, and I accept him for it. My little brother is like my best friend, so when I told him I was getting married, he was happy for me. Now, he and my fiancé have never really been ecstatic about each other. However, they tolerate each other. The original plan was that my little brother would be my best man, and he was super excited about it. But a little while ago, my brother started dating one of his best friends, a male teen, and he's a nice kid. I like him, but my fiancé, not so much. My brother asked if his boyfriend could go as a +1 with him to the wedding, and I didn't mind this at all, since there won't be a lot of kids his age there. So I thought it might be nice to have someone he knows there. When I brought this up to my fiancé, she was livid. She hated the idea of him bringing his boyfriend to the wedding. Now, while my fiancé doesn't hate gay people, she doesn't really support them either. She insisted they would ruin our special day, and she was already letting my little brother go. He should be happy about that. And I wanted my wife to be happy on our wedding day, so I agreed and told my brother that his boyfriend could not go. I tried to explain this to my brother, but he was equally, if not more, angry at me than my wife was. He called us bigots and was sick of pretending that he liked her for my sake. He called us homophobes and said he won't go to a bigot's wedding. Now he refuses to go at all, which I'm upset about because I really wanted him to be my best man. I love him and his boyfriend, but the day isn't about me. I want to consider my fiancé's wishes so we can both have our dream day. I also really do want my brother to go to the wedding. It means so much to me. So, am I the idiot for not letting my little brother's boyfriend come to my wedding? As a gay man, you are the idiot. You're letting your future wife's hatred, and I'm going to call it that, hatred, be more important to you than your love and acceptance for your brother. You are marrying someone who sees your little brother as less than her. Already letting him go? She can get lost. He's your little brother. He should be there with his boyfriend. Ask him how she treats him when you aren't around. I dare you. What would she treat your kids like if they turned out gay? The whole thing is just horrifying. This is not the kind of thing you overlook in a relationship. It's not equivalent to someone leaving hair in the sink or leaving the toilet seat up. This woman hates OP's brother and will do everything in her power to exclude him, and OP's willing to go along. It's disgusting. I wish I could give OP's brother a big hug. The kid doesn't deserve to be treated like this. OP has chosen the wrong side. My sister, young teen, and I, teen female, are not close. She has really bad social skills. She does not have any diagnosis, like ADHD or autism, but she's never been good with social stuff. She's very intelligent and is a very good problem solver, but she needs to understand that what's easy for her is not easy for everyone. She also lacks the social skills to know or realize that when complaining about other people's interest, their lack of skills, etc., is not how you make friends or get people to like you. This has been an issue with her since we were in elementary school and maybe even preschool. She'd win at almost every board game and would ask really bluntly why someone was bad, normally me. She'd tell me how easy it was and I should be winning because I'm older. Our parents always bought board games like that, which suited her way more. I hated playing against her because her attitude after winning wasn't fun or easy to be around. And she was like that with others too. One time, our aunt played with us. She's a teacher. And my sister basically asked how she could be a teacher when she couldn't win a game against a grammar schooler. I never liked having to spend time with my sister, and I hated playing anything with her, even more. She always wanted to spend more time with me, but I avoided that crap as much as I possibly could. Eventually, she started to sit in on me playing video games, and she would try to backseat the game or criticize me for taking so long to finish a puzzle. Or she would literally take the controller out of my hand and do the puzzle for me. She was like that when I had friends over too. Then she'd get upset when it was clear we didn't want her around. I tried telling her it was rude to insult or interrupt others, to help, without being asked to, and to continue when asked to stop. She would say to me it was boring watching someone struggle and everyone should thank her. There are some things she isn't so good at, and boy, her reactions are strong, like tantrums. Our parents banned charades because my sister couldn't play them to save her life and would get so mad. She's had friends, but all of them eventually drop her once they grow tired of her complaining about stuff they like: makeup, music, movies, sports, and indirectly calling them dumb. She's lonely now because I never hang out with her. She has no friends, and even our cousins don't want to know her. My parents have been on my case about hanging out with my friends, not including my sister, and how I never make time for her anymore. They said I could and should be helping her way more. The other day, I told them it was their job to help her, not mine. They said we're sisters, and yet I act like I don't like her. The truth is, I don't. I don't know if I ever liked her, really. But I really don't like her now, and I hate every second I spend with her. I didn't tell my parents this, but saying it was their job to help my sister and not mine really made them angry. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It is your parents' job, and honestly, she probably does need screening for autism. However, if she's made it to her teen years without several other people are not as quick as you at X, but that doesn't mean you jump in and or berate them, discussions from your parents, teachers, and other adults. There's probably a limited window left for her to modify her behavior. You've done everything you should be doing as her sister, telling her that her behavior isn't acceptable. Anything beyond that is in your parents' realm of care. Sometimes people need to see the consequences of their actions spelled out for them. And even if your sister didn't always have this horrible attitude, you're not obligated to include her when hanging out with your friends. This is an issue your parents have created by not addressing her rude behavior properly when she was younger. Now she's in her teens, and I think it won't be easy to correct. She needs therapy. This is classic autistic behavior, and she needs a specialist to help her understand. Your parents are doing her no favors by coddling her. I would let her lose at charades. It's a good way to help her understand how she makes others feel, as she seems to lack empathy to understand it intuitively. Trust me, as someone who once was that child, your parents are doing her no favors. My son, a young teen, has been asking for a dirt bike for 3 years, and this year I could finally afford one. It was delivered yesterday morning. I didn't tell my son, so it was a surprise. It cost me almost $2,000. I told my husband point blank that no one was to touch my son's dirt bike. I made this point clear because his buddy lives next door and has 6 boys, ranging from 7 to 16. He said he completely agreed and didn't want anyone to touch it either. I ordered it 2 months ago, so that's when we had this discussion. So my son gets home and his stepdad, my husband, and I give him his dirt bike. This kid was so darn happy that he cried. He immediately started riding. I go indoors to start dinner and get the dishes done. I'm indoors for roughly 45 minutes when my son comes in, slamming doors, crying, etc. I ask what's going on, and he tells me that my husband's friend's son, Tween, crashed the dirt bike, ripped off the front tire, bent the handlebar back, and slammed the door. I followed him into the bedroom and got him relatively calmed down enough for him to tell me that my husband told him, "This stuff happens sometimes. You live and learn. Some stuff gets broken. It's not a big deal." And it was him who told my son to share the darn dirt bike. I immediately threw my shoes on and went downstairs in full mama bear mode, admittedly. I walk up to my husband and his friend, who's standing by the bike, and ask him, "Who's paying to cover the cost of fixing the bike?" His friend doesn't say anything, and my husband tells me, "It'll have to wait. No one can afford it right now." I lost it. I told him that he was the darn idiot who went against our agreement, and he shouldn't have told my son to share his bike. And that stupid kid had no business touching my son's bike to begin with. Neither of you forked over a dime toward the cost, so it's pretty ballsy of you to make a decision about it. He said he forgot our agreement and didn't think it was a big deal, and that my son should have just said no. My son told me that he said he didn't want to. At some point, I heard crying behind me, and I turned, and the friend's son was standing behind me crying. I comforted the kid. I told him it wasn't his fault and that it was the adult's fault for thinking he was big enough to ride it. He calmed down, but my husband and his buddy are calling me a psycho. Am I the idiot for flipping out and making a kid cry over breaking my son's brand new dirt bike? Edit, the kid was fine, by the way. He tried to hit a jump, chickened out, and bailed on the bike after revving it to full throttle, so the bike slammed off a tree. He's not injured. I did not realize the kid was standing there. I probably would have noticed if I had paid more attention, but I didn't see him anywhere in the vicinity when I started going off. Not the idiot. Tell them they'll see a darn psycho for real if the bike is not replaced. Have your husband tally up what he can sell of his stuff to replace the bike. The poor kid wanted it for 3 years, and Daddy let his friends wreck it in 1 hour? It's not even his freaking dad. I'm so angry at the audacity of this man-child and his stupid friend. They must figure it out. Sell their man toys and pay for the kid's bike. I don't care if that's their tools, Pokemon collection, game systems, or whatever. They broke the kid's bike. They now lose their toys. Idiots. I have a feeling, based on both the husband and the friend's father, plus only this context to go on from OP, this won't be done. At least not anytime soon. If the response was, deal with it later, no one has the money, I'm almost certain that no money will ever be put towards this replacement. Honestly, why are you with this loser? He disregards you and disrespects you. Your husband has shown that he doesn't care. So take them to court now. My girlfriend and I have been together for 5 months. We're both 31. Let's call her Amy. My girlfriend is beautiful. She works out, goes to workout classes, everything. However, when she was younger, she was really hot. This whole conversation started when she was showing me photos from her past. Her social media only has recent photos. She told me, too, that when she was younger, she would get free flight upgrades and be invited to celebrity parties. She told me that when she started working at her first company, she got invited to their company's town hall, where she got to ask the CEO questions in front of the whole company, etc. She then asked me to be honest and tell her if I would have preferred dating her now or back then. I told her now because I didn't think I could have related to her back then as I do now, and that her personality got me to fall in love with her. She then, what about from a purely physical perspective? Let's say my personality is the same now, just that we swapped bodies. From a physical standpoint, I said I would choose her in my early 20s. She then asked me what age I find women the most attractive, and I say it depends on the woman, but tell her it generally is 21 to 24. Up until this point, she hadn't shown an ounce of anger. Then she says, oh, so women after 24 are basically worthless in your eyes. I told her if I could swap and get my 22-year-old body back, my youth, everything, I would do it too in a heartbeat. She then starts saying this is not about youth. This is attraction. Then starts calling me a creep and an idiot for preferring younger women. She then says she thought that since I was nerdy, I didn't have the same obsession with college girls as the bro type. Honey, do these pants make my butt look big? Be honest now. LOL. OP, you fool. You're not very bright, are you? You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. No, honey, you're aging like a fine wine with me. I'm so attracted to you. I wouldn't change a thing about you if I could. Besides, I'm not into younger women. Dude, this is an amateur level situation. Your significant other is always the hottest version of themselves right now. Everyone's the idiot here. You are both too old for this crap. It's giving, would you love me if I were a worm? Vibes. You're two of the most immature people I've ever heard of. Screw off and get back to me when you've had some actual real-life problems. Now, here's a real-life problem. My insurance bill is due in 2 days, and I'm panicking. Why do people insist on ruining their own lives by never growing up?